Indiana Jones. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door. I never doubted that. So what are you doing here in Nepal?
I need one of the pieces your father collected.
The name's Bond, James Bond.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Action Movies Reloaded podcast. We are doing episode 5 today and we're doing it live, guys. Raiders of the Lost Ark. So like, subscribe, tune in to this awesome podcast. It's pretty awesome. And it's also on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify right now, I do appreciate you. Give a follow there or leave me a comment, what you think, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to get going here. And I got my good buddy Caleb from the Dark Ether Files podcast to talk Raiders of the Lost Ark. How you doing, man?
Hello there. It is good to be back on Backtrack Cinema. Talking good. Indiana Jones, one of my favorite action heroes in all of cinema.
Awesome. Good to have you back, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is going to be a lot of fun talking some Indiana Jones and this movie and all that kind of stuff. So in between the categories, in between how we're going to stack up and break this movie down, guys, I will answer your, I'll talk to you in the chat stuff and we'll get going shortly and all that kind of stuff. So just let me quickly see who's here. Oh, we got Tom Baker. He said, a popcorn movie like it should be. And damn, you did an interview. That's totally great. Oh, thanks. I don't know what interview you're talking about. Probably with Steve Merlo from his new movie. You're very good at interviewing people. Thank you, man. All right. Yeah. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, the way I run this podcast, Caleb, is that I'm going to, we're going to break down these categories. We're going to give them points. We're going to take a look at the leaderboard. We're going to do a little grade of the movie and just have a good time talking and breaking this movie down. But the first thing I like to ask everyone, Caleb, what brought you to the action genre? Was a certain movie, a certain experience, maybe when you're young in the movie theater or whatever, but what brought you to the action movie genre?
Well, my father, and that is the first place to start. My dad grew up in the 80s. He was born in 1971, and he grew up on a lot of these franchises that we come to know and love. So we're talking Rambo, Alien, Predator, Terminator, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. He grew up on so much stuff, and so he decided to pass that down to me. I started watching a lot of these movies pretty early, like some movies I probably shouldn't have been watching as like a 5-year-old, roughly. I was watching Terminator at 5. Just keep that in mind. I was watching Predator at 5. Like, I was pretty young, and these movies were intense. They were crazy. Even watching Indiana Jones early on. That was mainly because I had watched Star Wars first before Indiana Jones. And
right.
Dad put me in front of Harrison Ford for Star Wars, and then he's like, "Hey, he's also in Indiana Jones." So yeah, I have quite the history with this, with the genre, and quite the history with this franchise.
Do you have a particular favorite action star you love?
Off the top of my head, Arnold.
I knew that answer, but I had to ask.
Of course, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like I said, I watched Terminator early on. That led into Predator, and Predator is one of my favorite franchises of all time, like top 2. Like, it's right there. And the original Predator, it stuck in my mind for so long. I remember my dad had a DVD of the film where it was it was a weird sleeve. Like, it was like a soft, not cardboard, but it was a soft sleeve. It was very thin, and it was like black, and it had the Predator logo in red. and had Arnold's like part of Arnold's face. And I remember that image was cemented and is still cemented in my head to this day. I remember watching Predator. I'd always put it into my portable DVD player when we go on the road. That'd be one of the films I would watch. I put in Terminator 2, the first Terminator. I remember when me and my parents were taking a trip through Austin, Texas, years ago. My dad had this old iPod, and one of the songs that was on this iPod was the Terminator theme, and I would listen to it all the time. So, Arnold is pretty much my favorite.
Yeah, it's so powerful, man. It really is.
Yeah.
All right. Who we got here? Tom says, I hope Jamie Hart shows up. Oh, Jamie pops in when she can. She's great, man. She's a great community builder. Sergeant or Colonel Carter, whatever you guys call him. Says, Colonel Carter. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. And then we got the Prince. Just watched Crystal Skull yesterday. A rewatch. Sweet, man. Carter said, I remember my first R-rated movie, RoboCop. My dad rented it from Hollywood Video. Yeah, I remember my parents went out on a date on RoboCop to see it. And the Fauci Cinema, Matt, good buddy on YouTube, says, J-Man, what's popping, brother? It's popping. It's happening. Stick around. Although that's not this movie, but why did it have to be snakes, Matt? Why did it have to be snakes? I have no problem with snakes. It's the rats. I'm more like the dad. I'm more like Indy's dad. Rats would have freaking done me in. But anyways. All right. Okay, Caleb. Let's another thing I like to ask people. So I don't know. You are talking to some strangers. They've never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark or any Indiana Jones movie, if you can believe that. Let's just like pretend here. And you tell them why you have to see this movie. What is it about this movie that is so special?
If you like history, you'll like this movie. That'd be my opening pitch. On top of that, if these random strangers are fans of adventure films, like I want to say medium octane. The only reason I don't say this is high octane is because when I think of high octane, I think of Rambo. That's high octane for me. But I consider Indiana Jones to be medium octane, which isn't a negative, by the way. This movie has a great balance between world building of the mystery, a likable protagonist to help carry the film, and then the action set pieces, which I know we'll get into. They're good. They're real good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's this great adventure. It's this buckle in, have a swashbuckling good time. Don't take it too seriously. That's when these movies thrive. When you look at something like National Treasure and Pirates of the Caribbean, when they're not taking themselves seriously, you're having a good time. And movies are supposed to make you forget about this depressing world and have a good time. Although on the flip side of that coin, I think there are some really good movies too that deal with real world shit that are good too. So I'm not saying one's better than the other, but sometimes it's nice just buckle in, have some popcorn, and just have a good time.
Well, there is something to be said about movies and being able to separate, getting away from the depressing aspects of the real world. I think where some movies really shine is when it gets you into real world history.
Yeah.
Like different genre, different medium here. Call of Duty. The very first Black Ops game. I remember playing it back in 2011. And, it's a high octane. It's an action game. It's a first-person shooter. We've all heard about these. But that first game got me into history to learn about the Bay of Pigs invasion, the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 60s, learning about JFK.
Yeah.
Translate that now over to Indiana Jones. It got me fascinated with World War II. Got me fascinated with the Ark of the Covenant. Doing more research, looking into these real world things. And I think that's where a lot of the entertainment can really shine, is that when you can have a great time in the fiction, and then it also inspires you to go look at the real world events, because they are just as interesting.
Did none of you guys go to Sunday school?
Exactly.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great, man. All right, well, we're gonna start going through the numbers here, guys. So Carter said, I remember watching Raiders on VHS. In my opinion, nostalgia and adventure. That's just it, man. That's just it. My biggest advice, don't watch Indiana Jones 5. I wish I hadn't, but I don't need to watch it again, so I'm good. Tom Baker says, no shit, Indy 5 sucked. Thanks a lot, Kathleen Kennedy. Carter says, Gladiator is a great history too. Yeah, it's not so much it's a real story, but it's the way they depicted the Roman army and everything was just fucking bang on. When Ridley's on his game like that, man, there's no one better. Carter says Assassin's Creed is one of the games that got me. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. That's a good one, Carter.
Yeah.
If you want to get into history. Yeah, just awesome stuff. All right. All right, so let's start here. We'll pop this up here. So, released on June 12th, 1981, directed by Steven Spielberg, written by Lawrence Kasdan, George Lucas, and Philip Kaufman, starring Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, and Paul Freeman. Budget of $18 million, a box office of $390 million. Just let that sink in for a minute for 1981, everybody. That's almost $1 billion probably with inflation now.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite $1 billion, but it'd be
Pretty
high.
close.
It'd be high. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give it a 94, the audience a 96. So this is pretty even. And IMDb an 8.4 out of 10. So, Caleb, what do you think of these numbers, these critic scores? What, just anything that pops in your mind?
Well, I mean, as far as the budget to box office take home, it doesn't surprise me. This movie has an appeal, a thing that can appeal to everybody. Like I feel like anybody can hop into this movie and have a good time. Sure, you're gonna have your naysayers, you're gonna have your folks that are gonna dislike it, say, "Oh, this is not realistic." It's like, but then you have to hit them. It's like, well, yeah, it's a movie. It's not supposed to be realistic. You're supposed to have fun. But that's the thing about this movie, is that it's a callback to the old film serials back in the 30s, the 40s. Like movies that help to inspire movies of today. Like I was rewatching some of the old Universal Mummy movies, and it was kind of jarring because some of the elements that were happening in some of these films, I was like, man, this feels like a lot like Indiana Jones. And I was like, that's when it clicked. It's like, you know what? George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, they watched these movies.
Yeah.
They got inspired to do that later on when they made their own film.
Yeah, and they probably weren't as long. They were probably like an hour.
Yeah,
and
they were pretty short.
They were pretty short, and then next week the next one would come out. That's what this was. This is how this was designed, but in a. Honestly, I'm surprised Spielberg didn't bang more of these out in some fashion. Obviously, they were a big hit, so you had to put a lot of money into them, and movies take time to make. But it was one of these things where you give Indy an adventure. A lot of times it was a different girl, like Bond, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was kind of like Bond in that sense, right? And yeah, that's what they were, like old swashbuckling serials, those old, kind of fun movies like that. So absolutely. And I completely agree here. This is bang on ratings here. Actually, the IMDb, I'd probably bump up a little bit more myself, but yeah, it's for sure. Hey, Jamie, what's going on? Tom Baker was asking about you. He said, hell, Jaws made $470 million worldwide back in 1975. Well, Spielberg knows how. He seemed to. Well, he molded my generation, essentially. He molded us. He molded that brand of entertainment, that modern blockbuster that everyone uses as a template now. So you can see it in the pacing of this movie.
Yeah.
Jamie did see every movie in the history of mankind in the theater. She went to the theater a lot as a young child. So, and we are going to be doing an interview on that collaboration, me and Jamie. So stick around for that when we are able to do it. So let's just get into this, Caleb. So let me pull my notes up here with the ratings and all like that. So Caleb is giving me his numbers beforehand here, so I'll read them out to you guys. So story. Let's break down this story, Caleb. You gave it a 10. Perfect story for you. Tell me what you love about the story.
The simplicity of it. You have a great introduction for the character. What it establishes is that this man is an adventurer. He is a obtainer of rare antiquities. He's smart. He's got one hell of an education. You mix all these elements together, someone who is physically capable and mentally capable. This is your action star. This is your hero that is going to walk you through this journey, or in some cases run for your life, right? He has his morals, right? Like in the opening scene when one of the guides pulls a gun on him, right? He uses his whip, but that's all he does. He doesn't chase after him. He doesn't, go ahead, make my day type of stuff. He doesn't pop one in his back. He lets him go. So he's got a bit of a moral center, but he's also not afraid to, kick some rear end when he needs to. Throughout this movie, you can see his fascination with history. With the mythology,
Yeah.
When Indy and Sala go into the Well of Souls and they pull out the Ark, that legendary scene where you can see the shadow of the Ark of the Covenant. It's like it's such a iconic moment, one that sticks with me to this day. I remember seeing it for the first time when I was a kid. My mind was blown. This guy is, he's going around the world finding these exotic treasures, the secrets of mankind's history from the old days. That's very fascinating to me. This is a story that I can easily get into. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy the Brendan Fraser mummy movies so much, is because you have a similar setup where, like Indy, the story takes place partially in Egypt, of a land of great mystery and intrigue.
Yeah, I think that's what's so good about it too, is I said the concept's cool, right? You got this doctor of archaeology, whatever, and he goes out looking for all these things. And I like how they're I like how most of the movies, it was always supposed to be some kind of religious artifact. I think that's when Indy's hitting. Even though I'm the biggest Temple of Doom fan, I love Temple of Doom so much. But I kind of like how that changed its pace a little bit in that one. But usually it's kind of cool that he's going after these religious artifacts, and getting the Ark of the Covenant is really cool. Like we've said, it's a swashbuckling movie. It's a throwback to the old serials. So that's what's so good about the story. And you're right, it is simple. And some of the, I don't know, maybe tropes now you're seeing in this. You see a trope, but it wasn't a trope then, because they were just making, faking it till they make it kind of thing. And what I mean by that is, like, you got this character, he's got to get a trinket, or keep someone from getting this trinket, whatever. And actually, if you look at the story, he doesn't obtain his objective. The main character does not obtain his objective. He doesn't stop. Like, the villain opens the thing, he gets what he wants. Indy never stopped him, but the thing was dangerously powerful, and that's kind of like what wipes all the villains out. But I think that's just such a cool storyline to follow, and reuniting with this long lost love is really cool too. We'll get into that a bit later, but this story is just it's, you don't have to think too hard about it. Character has to obtain something, goes on this, goes around the world, globetrotting, swashbuckling adventure. So I gave it an 8. I'm a little lower than you, but it's still a hell of a story. It's a simple story. You don't have to think about it too much, and
Right.
yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So Carter says one of the unsung heroes of the 40s heroes I'm familiar with is Dick Tracy, the Rocketeer, the Phantom, to name a few.
Yeah.
Indy walked so Laura Croft could run and Nathan Drake could dangle off the back of a cargo plane. Yeah,
That's
again,
true.
Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is very much a female Indiana Jones, if you will. You're right.
Yeah.
I actually have a little bit of nostalgia for the original. The what do you call it? The Angelina Jolie one. They're not great, but
That first movie, it's better than people think. It's not as bad as people say. I think that Angelina Jolie was a perfect fit for the role. Like, she understood the assignment and she delivered.
Yeah. It felt like Laura Croft to me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Jamie says I saw this in the movie in the theater and the drive-in too. Wow, that must have been awesome. I never got so lucky. I saw the re-release of Empire when it re-released to the special edition one, but that's not nearly the same thing, I don't think. So, but still, I got to see Yoda on the big screen. All right, let's go to Hero. So we talked a little bit about Indy here, but Caleb gives the Hero here a 10 out of 10 for Caleb. For me is a 10 out of 10. So what can you say? What can you say about this man? Just look at this outfit. I mean, the design of the character is so unique and so fitted to him that when you think of Indiana Jones, the fedora, the whip, the pistol, the brown jacket, the so many people have written kind of like I remember in the 80s, there's one called King Solomon's Mine was kind of like, another kind of rip off of this, or when Michael Douglas did Romancing the Stone. It was a little different, but still
Yeah.
it's an adventurous kind of film, which is still a pretty good film too. But yeah, what can you say about Indiana Jones? Caleb, what is about this character?
He is a character that has set the standard for the swashbuckling adventure types. He's a ladies' man. He has morals, self-respect, respect for others, respect for history. Like, when you look at Brendan Fraser's Mummy, I'm seeing Indiana Jones Jr., like, straight up. There's a lot of similarities, but the point is that Indiana Jones as a hero, as a character, he set the standard for these types of films. It's why you have so many inspirations, like Carter had pointed out, with Nathan Drake and Laura Croft, right? These characters are very much Indiana Jones inspired, and what a great character to take inspiration from. You don't see a lot of characters that are able to take on the smarts and the physical strength. Sometimes it's one or the other, but Indiana Jones is kind of like a well-rounded jack of all trades kind of hero, and that's something that I think that a lot of people can easily get into. They can see relatability, whether through the love of history or through the physical capabilities.
Yeah,
it's something that is very much attainable to many mainstream audiences. This guy, he isn't a god, right? Like, he's still human. He can still get hurt, which we do see in this film. So the fact that we can have a hero that can stand above the rest while also be relatable, that makes a good character, a good sellable character to an audience.
Yeah, he's just great, man. He's what I like is how I think this is the first time they're playing around with that everyday man you can relate to, in the sense that he is not winning fights. Sometimes he just gets lucky the way he gets out of jams. Like the one part where that big boxer guy, he starts fighting, he gives him a big fucking jab, and Andy just goes right down, and it's like, yep, physically you're out of your league here.
Yeah.
But he does what he can. So, and this is a kind of this is a model that they use with something like John McClane, where John McClane in Die Hard, he's getting his ass kicked left, right, and center, but somehow he's surviving, he's getting the job done, and Indy's kind of like that. And there's this sense of humor through this whole movie with the whole character.
Yeah.
That's just hilarious. You know what I mean? It's very situational humor.
Yeah.
At times, you know what I mean? And I love that. But just personality, the look of him, some of we'll get to his one-liners and stuff, but he's just a lot of fun, this character. I think I'm still partial to Han Solo. I've had to pick one over the other as a character. But I really love this. I mean, I really love this character. Used to read the books all the time when I was in public school. Yeah. I mean, where he'd be wrestling gators and getting into all sorts of trouble. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just love it how he's go. And when he finally rests, he's all busted up and he's acting like a baby. He's like, oh, it hurts. Like this. And then when he just passes out on Marion, the next morning she wakes up, is just like a guy, like that's like me, man. Give me 4 hours rest, I'm back up at it again. You know what I mean? And I love that about this character. You know what I mean? It's so funny.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see what everyone's saying here. Talking to yourselves, that's good. Tom says he's like Errol Flynn. Yeah, very good analogy, actually. Yeah. Carter says, I love the outfit. Original art had Indy with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, but dropped it out of fear kids would get into smoking. I could see that PR you'd want to handle. I kind of like the idea. To me, Indy doesn't feel like a guy who smokes.
Yeah.
Be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of like that. Jamie's hitting the autocorrect button. Tom says, Harrison never should have starred in 5. They castrated Indiana Jones. We'll talk about that another day maybe, but I agree with you. I'll just say that. I agree with you, my friend. Okay, let's get into our villain here. So this is what's his name, Caleb? Rene
Belloq.
Belloq, that's it.
Of course, if you talk to Sala, it's Belosh.
Belosh. Now I will say stating this, one weakness, I don't know if it's a weakness. I wouldn't say it's a weakness, but this is not a franchise that's known for its villains for me. I think that's why I like Temple of Doom so much, because he stood out. Mola Ram really, really, really stood out. Yeah. So for me, this is a 6. This villain's a 6 for me. And Caleb has him at a 7. So we're basically at par here.
Yeah.
To me, this villain, he's the opposite of Indy, except for he's out for greed. He's got working for the Nazis. He's not protecting history. He's kind of selling it for what it's worth. And I do like that mirror aspect of both the characters, but and it's not even the actor's fine. The actor's fine, man. They just didn't do enough with the villain for me to make him. I mean, there's a little drinking game that happens, but he's never menacing. He's never, and I get the tone is kind of not supposed to be that either, but he is what he is. I mean, that's where I would have him. But I find this franchise is not really known for its awesome villains, and I'm a big believer that no matter what movie you're in, you have to have a great villain for your protagonist. And if anything brings this movie down, it's really the lack of the villains. Just never stood out to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's kind of like he's a great actor, like you said earlier. His little quirks. He's a French guy. I like these aspects. It's just I feel like these movies they're not really focused on a main like 1v1 type villain. Like this isn't a type of Die Hard situation where you have a main villain that has such a presence. Like the story is not so much about a situation, but it's more or less like a sort of MacGuffin, or like the goal is the arc. We'll look at this movie in particular. The goal is the arc, and Indy is going through this adventure. The villain isn't so much important. Like he is important. Then Belloq and the Nazis they're important villains. They're necessary for the story, but the story isn't focused on them. It's more so the the sort of like what if they get their hands on the Ark, the type of damage they could cause. Of course, you watch the movie, you know that once they open up the Ark, they're all screwed.
Yeah.
It's just the story isn't really focused on the villains too much. You do have this sort of back and forth, a sort of understood, like we understand that there's history between Indy and Belloc, right? We understand this through the dialogue. It's just there's not too much focus. He's kind of there when the plot needs him to be. And, yeah, you can kind of say that's a negative if you want. I think for the story that we got, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because we really are following Indy and giving more focus on Belloc when he doesn't have too many things that make him stand out. It's kind of like, you kind of give and take in regards for that aspect. Like if Belloc was much more menacing, like let's say that he was a Nazi scientist or a Nazi professor who was obsessed with the occult, right? Like he had, like he was the literal mirror opposite to Indy, but evil, right? But Belloc isn't a Nazi; he's just working with them. You know? So while that can lead into something interesting, I think that if they made him a Nazi and they made him obsessed with the occult, like demonology and trying to find mystical artifacts, then maybe you could have had a much more compelling villain. But for him, his motivations aren't really a standout. Like he's not in it for world domination, right? He's really just in it for the fame and for the money.
Yeah.
And those types of villains don't necessarily stand out. Like having a villain with a more complex goal, like obtaining ultimate power through the use of an artifact, that's interesting. Like if you set the movie where if the villain gets their hands on a powerful artifact, it'll give them immortality. Now suddenly the story becomes much more of a race against time because we don't want the villain to get immortality, and that instantly raises the danger of the villain and thus the importance of the villain much higher than what we have here. So that's why I put him as a 7. At the same time, I do like Paul Freeman. He's a good actor, and for what he does in this movie, I was entertained. So
it's I agree. He's and there's also that little henchman he's with the glasses who burns his the thing. He's not even I don't find stands out too much, but at least with Crystal Skull too, Kate Blanchett did this over the top character that stood out. I remember her.
Yeah.
When I think about that movie, right?
Right.
Carter says the chemistry between Indy and Belloc is more like a Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty. Yeah, I can see that. Tom Baker says my favorite villain was Tulsa Doom on 1981. Oh, you mean Thulsa Doom? Oh yeah, Conan the Barbarian. See, it's presence.
Yeah.
That's presence, right? So, by the way, Thulsa Doom was very much like Jim Jones, for sure. All right, let's move on. All right, action set pieces. So I have this at a 9. Caleb has it at a, oh my god, it's down here somewhere, 10. So I have it at a 9. Caleb has it at a 10. So Caleb, what's like? You could talk about maybe your favorite action set piece or the action as a whole. What's so great about the action here?
Well, I'll say this: the set piece I'm going to talk about isn't like my favorite, like my top, but it is a memorable one, and I'll go into a personal story about it. So one of my favorite parts is the entire Cairo chase sequence, because first of all, once Indy gets to the Cairo swordsman and he does his sort of like Darth Maul type introduction, and then Indy just pulls out the revolver, just caps him. That's gold. That's gold. And of course that was more or less improvised because they were supposed to have, there was a fight planned, but Harrison was down with a really bad fever, or he was like sick. And so they decided to make it.
He decided actually
Yeah.
it was very hot. That
Yeah.
was everyone was sick and a lot of people weren't feeling well, and he just why don't I shoot him? Like why
Yeah.
don't I just? And it's funny how that just on screen it works so well. It just seems to work with this character so well. You know, don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Right. But the entire chase sequence trying to get Marion back is it's pretty memorable to me. It's pretty funny hearing Marion scream the way she does. It's like it's silly, but one of the reasons I like it so much is because back in 2009, I went to Disney World with my aunt and uncle, and my dad showed up as a surprise, and it was actually call it fate or divine intervention, but my aunt ended up coming down with a really bad fever. So for pretty much most of the trip, she was bedridden. So it was me and my dad. And my dad and I went to an Indiana Jones live performance show. And
Oh,
he
wow.
was able to actually get into the performance. He was one of the extras. And he was one of the Cairo like merchants or the bystanders. So he was there in the action set piece. And I remember seeing him in the turban and the robes and everything. I was like, it was so cool. It was really awesome. I wish I had a video camera to record it, but yeah, no, it was great. It was one of the things that really stuck out to me the most at the time. Aside from that, so I'm going to do a little bit of a show and tell here. So Lego Indiana Jones. First of all, I love Lego. even in my my last 20th year. But that's one of the other avenues of which I was able to get into Indiana Jones. And in the games, they recreated the set pieces. So, for example, like chasing the Ark, like the picture you have up right now, or the fight with the boxer guy and the plane.
Yeah.
There's just something really entertaining about all these things. Like as a young mind getting into these stories, into these movies, and being able to appreciate it more as an adult, it stuck with me for so long. And it's like, I'm so thankful to my dad for introducing me to these things because they're so good. They're simple, but they're also complex. They're just entertaining, man. Like they throughout this entire movie, there's not one point where I'm bored. Like even the intrigue, like after Indy and Marcus talk with the government guys about the Ark, right? Like this sort of impending sense of urgency and doom about, if the Nazis get their hands on the Ark. And the story helps to the importance of the action set pieces. Like, once Indy gets on that horse chasing after the Ark, you have the soundtrack that builds up. He's chasing after the trucks. It's like, it's so good. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah. It's I absolutely love it. It's one of the first. I think this is a movie that really set a standard for the pacing of a blockbuster, the pacing of the action, like the opening sequence, that whole thing with the boulder coming down, things falling apart, the practical effects and all that. And then we get, there's this chase scene, then there's the one here, the truck chase scene, then there's the bar fight. It has a lot.
Yeah.
It has a lot of action pumping through it for its time. Like when we look at a modern movie, I mean, it's just throwing action at you left, right, and center. Well, they weren't always like that.
Yeah.
There was a certain, you watch some of those 70s movies, they're to today's standards, they're quite slow. You know what I mean? But this Spielberg just just put his foot on the gas and said, this is what our modern audiences are just going to eat up, right? Or maybe just what he wanted to see in a movie.
Yeah.
That's I would assume that he's just directing what he would want to see, and it works. I mean, that bar fight's amazing, and it has my favorite shot in the whole film when Marion's sitting there and you just see Indy's shadow I don't know what it is in movies.
Yeah.
Silhouettes just work for me. I don't know. I can't even explain why I like it so much. It's just seeing his. It's like this grandured character, and she just turns around like Indiana Jones like that, and when she hits him and all that. Which you see stuff like in Pirates of the Caribbean when everyone's slapping Johnny Depp, you go, oh,
Yeah.
see, you're tapping into what makes these things fun, right? And
Yeah.
I love Marion where she's like they hit the keg, and she's like, oh, and she's taking a drink while
Yeah.
she's hiding and everything like that. But this scene here, this truck chase, when I rewatched this on Sunday, I was like, this is you never saw anything like this before.
Yeah.
Like for how long it was, it drew out. Him taking the horse, coming down, hopping on the truck, getting thrown out of the freaking window, hopping back in, taking the pushing the guy out of the truck scene. This is, we'll get to the stuntman and the practical effects, but what just paced perfectly, like just unbelievable action set piece. This is one of the best. I think this is one of the best in film.
You know why it works so well? Here's why it works so well. The story up to this point has built up the importance of the arc, right?
Yeah.
The only reason why we are as invested as we are is because the movie has successfully set up its main hero. It's set up his mission and the importance of that mission. Therefore, our investment in the action scene is much more secured because we care about what's happening on film. One of the problems with a lot of the action set pieces in a lot of modern movies is that the story's just not there. Not like it is here.
No.
And because
Great.
You're not as invested in the story and the characters, you're not going to enjoy the action set pieces as much because the action set pieces don't sell a movie. It's a story first and foremost. You have to have a good story with good characters. Then the action set pieces, you can consider that your, the cherry on top or the sprinkles on top, however you want to put it. But the action set pieces only work when you have a good story that it emphasizes its importance, its necessity. And that's why, like you were saying, this chase scene is one of the best chase scenes that's been ever made, like personally. Seeing
it's we'll get to the practical effects, but I'll just mention you watch this, it's like you could feel the dust in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you just can't, they just don't do that no more. Cause they're even using CGI for dust and spinning tires. I see it in the Marvel movies. Captain America gets on a dirt bike, and when he's spinning up the dirt, it's all CGI dirt. And that is so easy to do. Put a stuntman on a bike, he could do that for you. Yeah. You just feel the atmosphere more. You can feel the environment around you, and I just love that. So action set pieces of these kind of movies, and I'm not saying action as died off or anything. Like there's a lot of modern action movies I think the action when the film, like what they did with John Wick, I mean, there's a guy who knows how to film action, right? But again, what did it have? A story, like you said. And by this time in this movie, you're so invested in Indy's mission that the action is just selling itself at this point, man. It's just like you're totally invested in it. But it's just action. That's what it is. Action movies reloaded, everyone. It's awesome. Tom's got some compliments for you. He said Caleb knows a lot for a young man. Yeah, I thought so too when I first met him. I go to his channel. It's called the Dark Ether Files podcast, man. And he has a passion for movies. I like his thumbnails too.
Thank you.
And today's credits take half an hour. A cigarette is CGI now. Yeah,
guns are too.
It is what it is. I understand the safety aspect. They're having a lot of issues. Like, there's been a lot of people who've gotten hurt. Even with squibs, people were getting hurt. Like, so, I guess it is. I understand that with CGI, but I'm like, dirt, really? I don't get that. That's where I'm like, So Curtis of the Ark Chase was my first Indiana Jones Lego set. Sweet. And I think they upped the action even more in Temple of Doom. Like, I think that roller coaster train is amazing. Like, it's just, it's so good.
that set a standard for action scenes too. Like for any video game fans, Resident Evil 4. If you've ever played Resident Evil 4, either the original or the remake, there is a mine chase sequence, and it's ripped straight from Temple of Doom, and I love it. It's that good. Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country, man. That's what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
my favorite part in Donkey Kong Country, man. So good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Stunts and practical effects. So I gave this one a 9, Caleb. You gave it a 9 as well. So we both got a 9 on this one. What keeps this from a 10? The only thing is I never grew up necessarily with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I do find there are some dated effects. It's only because of the age of the film, really. I wish I saw this as a young kid with the melt facing, because that probably would have just done me right in.
Yeah.
But I was always just Temple of Doom. My mom bought me the video game on the original Nintendo system, and I always watched Temple of Doom over and over and over and over again. So I never really knew of this movie. I knew the scenes in it, but when they open the Ark and all the beams, little things coming out, there's some dated stuff in this. But as far as the practical effects go, like we're here with the boulder and that scene, and like we said, the truck chasing, and all those dead bodies, the skeletons and everything are just fantastic. The snakes and everything, and even the snakes, I could see some of the datedness, but it still works.
Yeah,
for me.
It ain't CGI. It doesn't look like cheap CGI.
Yeah, but the practical effects, they really work for me. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. There are some dated effects here. That being said, it doesn't bother me. Like, I still get a shiver down my spine every time we get to the opening of the Ark. Not so much for the face melting, but seeing the angels of death swarming around all the Nazis. It's like, that's chilling. Even when when the face is like a young woman, but then it turns into a skeleton or a skull. That's freaky, man. Like, it may look cheap, but man, that it's unsettling. The boulder scene here, it's great. It's just like a quintessential action moment, a moment that has been replicated and parodied out the wazoo. I made a video. It was for one of our fun little intros a couple years ago. In the dialogue, I have a scene where it's one of our co-hosts, Danner, who's looking at the idol, and I make a joke that where the character is like staring at the idol for a really long time before he actually grabs it, because after this movie you had TV shows and other movies that would parody that scene, and part of the comedic effect for it was that they would take forever to grab it. It's like, and then for my dialogue in the story, one of the characters would tell Danner, "Can you just grab the thing already?" Like, you have this like suspenseful music. He's like, he's getting ready to grab it, and the character behind him is like, "Can you hurry up?" But no, the stunts are great. I'm gonna keep referencing the Ark chase scene because that's like my favorite out of the whole film as far as like the stunts go. I do like the scene in the Well of the Souls when Indy is moving around the statue of Anubis to crash the wall. That's pretty freaking good. I like that. In fact, one of my first Lego Indiana Jones sets was that scene. So
well, the opening scene's so good too, and it's like that whole sequence is really awesome, man. And the fact that he doesn't even get the trinket is so earned, because you got this back and forth with him and the villain.
Right.
Like, that's cool that he didn't get the trinket, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the practical effects, the stunt work, people are really doing this stuff. You got to remember, this is 1981, and this was stuntmen doing all this stuff. This was Spielberg, blocking all this stuff, having, such a elongated truck chase scene. Like, it's just like, people weren't just doing that before like they do now. Like the money they're throwing at movies now, right? Obviously this was a big budget though for its time, right? 18 million, we said.
Right.
So, but yeah, you can't. I don't think you get better, man. You don't get. I mean, people copy and try, and they don't get up to this standard. It's just in fact, the movie would probably feel slow. Well, I don't think it's slow, but you look back at it now. Maybe some people think it doesn't have enough, but I was watching and I'm going, this is action packed still. It still feels like an action packed movie.
I would say that this movie is dated, but not in the sense of the term that is usually used for. I'd say that this movie was made for a particular audience at a particular time, and only those that either grew up during that time or those like me who were exposed to it at a very young age and pretty much nothing else could look at this and say, yeah, this is awesome. A scene of a guy running with an idol while a boulder is chasing him, sign me up. I'll watch that any day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to be in the right state of mind. You have to have an appreciation for the time period. And the thing is, a lot of folks these days, they're not in that mindset. Like, you know, I guess there's a reason why the younger generation is called the TikTok generation, because of the short attention spans. You know, you try and sit somebody down who does doom scrolling on social media, try and put them in front of this, they're going to lose interest just at the opening credits. Like, Paramount, that's nice. You know what I mean? It sucks because there's a lot of great stories.
There's a great shot there, though, how the way he dissolves the Paramount Mountain.
I know. That's what I mean. Like, it's
into
so
the real
good.
mountain, right? It's so good. And the way you don't even know who Indy is yet. He's a mysterious character, and then he steps into the light.
Right.
Like, stuff like that, I just think is like, wow. And you see that being copied, right? And that's a good way of introducing your character. And then you give him so much personality. By the time he's running away, and there's a big snake here, he's telling to the guy in the airplane, I hate him.
Oh, come on, show a little backbone, will you?
Yeah, it makes him very human. I find.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The design of the
those
arc,
damn Nazis, a bunch of netters.
Yeah. The design of the arc, I know this isn't I guess you could kind of call it practical effects, I suppose, but the design of the Ark of the Covenant is
oh yeah, that's really good. Like the way they probably built that, right? Someone built it, and I think that's really cool. The gold around it and all that, it's pretty cool. Tom Baker said the opening scene from Indiana Jones 4 was also great. It was. It's having fun. It's a little over the top. People complain most how he survived the nuclear blast, but if you watch Temple of Doom, he went over a freaking mountain with a raft. So I just don't see the difference here. Like,
well, I heard one fan theory is because he drank from the cup of eternal life in Last Crusade. That's how he was able to survive. That's obviously just a fan theory, but
Tom says Caleb is to the point. Some movie reviewers go on and on.
I've
been telling Caleb to do more movie reviews, guys, because
I need to.
He's good at it. Maybe we'll start a series.
It's something I'm working on. If you are interested, there is well, there you go. So
I have my good buddy coming on for the Terminator. Me and Caleb have talked so much Terminator. I'm sure if you go to both our channels, you'll find something.
Yeah, there's a live stream on our channel right now talking about I think pretty much the entirety of the Terminator franchise. I can't remember if Dark Fate was out by then. I think it was. But yeah, there's a live stream that me, my fellow co-host Danner, and J-Man here we did. It's a 4-hour live stream. So take it as you will. We also talked about Predator as well. We did a live stream for Predator. But as far as movie reviews are concerned, I have a series which I need to finish. It's pretty much a running gag on our channel at this point. I did a review series of Terminator Dark Fate. I'm not kind to that movie. But if you want to see some more like of my reviews, That one is much more streamlined, refined, edited to, I don't want to say perfection because I'm still learning on the video editing side of things, but it's a series I do need to get back to. But I also need to do reviews. I need to do more reviews. I kind of got away from it. We mainly do live streams on our channel, but I'm going to get back into it. I'll say by the end of the year, I will definitely be getting back into it.
I know one movie. I know one thing we're getting together for, and that's a Godzilla, baby.
Oh yeah, yeah, we got it.
That got me jacked, man, because it's the same. Looks like the same director. It's the same director and everything. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, one-liners, guys. So I have one-liners at a 7, and Caleb has it at a 7. So we're equal here. I don't think I mean, there's a few standouts that are really good. Yeah. The dialogue's great for this whole film if you want to add dialogue to it, but there's only a few that stand out to me, and it's at a 7 for that, but the ones that we get are really good. Yeah. My personal favorite is it's not the years, honey, it's the mileage. I love that one. Probably the most famous one is Why Did It Have to Be Snakes, which they set up in the beginning, where he has the snake in the cockpit, and we find out, okay, really early that this guy is terrified of snakes. And how great is it to put our hero into a pit of snakes where he has no choice but to confront this and, get I forget what they were getting. What were they getting the temple there? They got locked in the
Wall of Souls.
Yeah, the Wall of Souls. That's it. Mm-hmm. I'm not as familiar with this movie as I am Temple of Doom, man. Like, for real. But yeah, what do you think of the one-liners, Caleb?
Like you were saying, the ones that we have, the ones that are most memorable, they're decent. It's just with this movie, when I think of one-liners, this movie doesn't come to mind. It's usually Terminator, Rambo, more of those high-octane action films where you have the invincible action hero, where he's wasting bad guys left and right. Even Die Hard, right? Indiana Jones isn't in the same action league as those other films in the sense of the hero isn't invincible. Right. He's not as confident as those guys who basically they can take a bullet and they can still keep going like nothing happened. Whereas Indy here, he takes a bullet and he gets hurt. But he has his moments, right? I don't want to completely discount the one-liners that we have because there are memorable ones, like you were saying. It's just as far as a movie being known for its one-liners, this isn't it.
I like when they're carrying the monkey around and she's like, "Look, it's our baby, and it even has your face or your good looks," and he goes, "In your brains."
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny because we see in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull their actual son swinging with monkeys.
Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of meta, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tom says, "Well, check out the videos." Yeah, definitely do.
Thank you.
I love the old James Bond one-liners.
Oh yeah.
Sean Connery after harpooning a henchman. I think you got the point. That's pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
He said in Thunderball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, one-liners are freaking great. And yeah, definitely, Tom. Check out the Predator stuff, the Terminator stuff. We've done it a lot. If something comes out new, but I don't think we're getting anything new Terminator-wise, but we'll talk about it again.
Yeah.
All right. Next is the score. Of course, John Williams. Mm-hmm. John Williams is the maestro here, and he makes awesome scores. I personally gave this one a 9. Caleb has got the score at a 10. So this is almost near perfect. I was just thinking about the score, and I was thinking about John Williams scores, and it's at a 9 because I do like I think Superman score is just absolutely amazing. Mm. And so I was just thinking about his other ones and how I would And so yeah, I keep it down from being perfect, but it's so iconic and recognizable. But not only the main theme, but what it's doing through the movie, especially that during the truck chase scene and everything, the way the music's building and everything, I think is fantastic. But you gave it a perfect, so why is it the perfect score?
So it's the use of Indy's theme, the Indy motif, I like to call it. Like especially in the Ark chase scene, where it's like dun 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 dun, dun. Like we get that multiple times throughout this movie, and I love it. Like I just the theme song alone is amazing. I love it. But having that same theme as a motif throughout the entire film, through the chase scenes, it works so good.
Yeah.
I love Marion's theme, like when they're together. It's a nice melody. It's really cool. It's a great fit for their romance. But one of my favorite motifs of all time is the Ark's theme. That intrigue, that mystery with it, especially towards the end, when the film version chops up the song, but if you listen to the actual soundtrack version, it goes through an entire section where it's like you have the Ark theme, but now it's more ominous, it's more foreboding. And then when all hell just starts breaking loose, it always gives me chills. When you hear the guy screaming in terror, like they screwed up bad, and now they're paying for it. And I always like to call the theme, it's either the wrath of the Ark or the wrath of God. That's how I classify it, because that's how powerful of a soundtrack that is.
What's interesting too is that he didn't even get the Ark. It ended up in this big, gigantic Area 51, if you will, kind of place with all these other artifacts.
It's very intriguing.
Yeah, I mean that's, I think the way Spielberg ends the movie is so cool. It's like, oh my goodness, you got about 100,000 movies you could make of every one of these artifacts.
Right.
Like you could do anything with this character. He's probably been around the world 3 or 4 freaking times, but I digress a bit here, guys. But as far as, the score, Caleb nails it, man. It is really good. It's just when I scored this, I was kind of like, how often do I listen to it on its own as well? And I honestly, I listen to Superman a lot more. And I'm even one of those people who put Superman over Star Wars as far as the score goes. I'm a big fan of that original 1978 Superman score. But this is great, man. And I, like you said, Caleb, I like how it's not through the whole movie. It's only when he's on the upside and it comes in and it gets exciting. You know what I mean? It's supposed to. It's that fist pump moment. That's that's what John Williams is doing. This is the fist pump. You can almost see him watching the movie. Yeah, this is the fist pump moment. Yeah. Time to cue that score up. Right. Excellent stuff.
Another thing is, again, I'm going to point out the Lego games here, because one of the things I love about these games is that they include a lot of they pretty much include the entire soundtrack from the movies in here. So both these games, the first one right here, this one just includes the first 3 films. This is the first one I played. And then when they came out with part 2, The Adventure Continues, they kept the soundtrack. Look, I don't listen to this soundtrack all the time. I don't watch these movies all the time. That being said, when I'm in an adventurous mood, this is where I go. As one of the marketing taglines for this character says, "Adventure. If adventure has a name, then it must be Indiana Jones."
I still die in the hill that Temple of Doom is the best adventure movie of all time for me. Like, it's my favorite, or I shouldn't say best, because this is probably the best. But Temple of Doom is my favorite adventure movie of all. When I want to put an adventure movie on, Temple of Doom, man. I mean, it just goes and goes and goes and goes for me. And I'm just one of those people, I don't find the girl that annoying. I know a lot of people do, but for me, I think she's annoying in a funny way that that's driving Indiana Jones nuts, and I kind of almost like seeing that. But that's another movie. But I'm just saying, I've just
It could be
always loved the
worse.
darkness of Temple of Doom.
Well, I'll
And
say this: as far as
right?
soundtracks go, the motif where when Indy gets freed of the mind control,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you have that scene where he punches one of the thuggy guys with the whip, and it goes dun 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 dun. I love that. That rivals a lot of this soundtrack in Raiders for me, because that one song is
or Mola Ram, when Mola Ram, that dark music, foreboding in the background, and the whole freaking heart rip. Oh my god, that's such a good movie too, man. I freaking love it.
Temple of Doom really did crank things up. I'm kind of like in your camp to an extent, but Raiders is the first indie film that I've seen, and it's the one that I rewatched the most. But I really like Temple of Doom. Like, it's great. It's excellent.
Yeah, I like it too, man. And it's actually a prequel. I don't know if a lot of people
That's the crazy thing. Yeah,
I don't know if a lot of people catch on to that, because it's actually a few years before Raiders.
Yeah,
and so it's another learning experience he went on, and the fact that he has this kid, he's taken this kid and shows how big of a heart he has.
Yeah,
and when he's possessed and he's hurting Short Round, and Short Round's this kind of like breaks him out of it, and they have that embrace as father, like a father and son. That's where I'm like, fuck Dial Destiny. Did you not try to get this actor? Did you not try to get Short Round back? That could have been a great movie.
Well, see, that's actually one of the critiques about Crystal Skull, is that we have Mutt, who's Indy's biological son, but we never get Short Round again.
Never.
And that sucks, because Short Round was excellent. He's better than Mutt. Like, no hate to Mutt Williams as a character per se. It's just the father-son dynamic was better in Temple of Doom.
Yeah. You call him Dr. Jones, lady.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. What you going on, Carter? John Williams is the GOAT. Guy's great, man.
Yeah.
Great. Raiders March and Hedwig's theme is iconic. Plus, I think it's interesting when the Ark theme plays in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So,
yeah.
Thomas's dial was a nightmare. Yeah, it certainly was. It made no. Yeah. And the fact that made no sense to me is that they set up this dial of destiny, what you can do, and the fact that the girl knocks him out, and it's like, you could have went back in time anywhere. Why didn't you just bring Mutt back? Like, that's what I thought they were doing. I thought they were going to do a Back to the Future thing, where he actually gets his son back.
Here's part of the problem. Dial of Destiny does so many things to Indiana Jones as a character. It's a character assassination. You think about this. Watch this. Take Indiana Jones here in Raiders of the Lost Ark. His first adventure as far as our real world time is concerned. You sit somebody down, you have them watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. You see how courageous he is, how determined he is. Skip every other movie and take them straight to Dial of Destiny. The whiplash is so bad. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Because you ask yourself, how is it that they take such a charismatic character and they turn him into a depressing slop to the point where he was willing to die in the past? The guy that was risking life and limb years earlier to prevent the Nazis from getting their hands on the Ark of the Covenant. And you're telling me that same guy, he wants to just, I give up on life. Yeah. I'm going to stay in the past and die. Forget whatever history I might fuck up.
Yeah.
I'll just stay here. And then it takes the woman to knock some sense into him. It's like, dude, first of all, you could have had better women. Like, you could have had Marion come in if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't even get this far. I like how Kingdom of the Crystal Skull ends because he finally ends up with Marion once again, who is my favorite.
It was a good
lady
closure
in this.
story.
They get married. He has his son. They get married. It's a textbook ending. Technically, if you really want to get to the nitty gritty, if you will, or whatever, Last Crusade had the perfect end for the character, riding off into the sunset.
Yeah, it was.
They
perfect.
win.
Yeah.
I mean that is the picture perfect ending. I like to look at Crystal Skull's ending as like a Route B option because I wanted to see Marion again. I was disappointed that we didn't see Marion again. So, and because I loved Marion so much, seeing her in Crystal Skull, I was like, yes, sign me up. I got what I wanted. So,
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with that. Sorry to go on that rant. It's just Dial of Destiny really pissed me off in the theater. I'm like, there is no way that they just did this.
Oh no, I was and like me, Caleb. I give I don't really listen to the chatter. Let's say.
Yeah.
I always like to go into it on myself, but people weren't wrong with this one.
Yeah.
I was like, because I love the director. I think this James Mangold has done some of my favorite freaking movies.
Yeah.
Like he's done some, and that's why I'm like, didn't you sign up for this story? I guess it works for some people. It didn't work for me. It's not that story doesn't work, but not for this character. Not for this character.
I mean, that really shouldn't be a discussion. It's like, why would you take a character that's they're relatable in certain aspects, but they're not meant to be the everyday Joe. If anything, that type of thing might work with John McClane, but even then, it's like, why do we need to make these characters so relatable that we get to see them depressed to the point where it's like, man, you take them in the previous film when they were at a really good high point where you could say, okay, that's enough. We don't need to tell any more stories. This character got their happy ending. That's it.
Yeah.
But they bring them back out of retirement. They make them depressed. They make them old. And you emphasize how old they are as if we need to understand that getting old can suck. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, we don't need to know that. We already understand that. We don't need to see our fictional heroes go through that. We don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not for these characters. Not for Indiana Jones. You don't need to turn him into a depressed old man sitting in a freaking apartment complex as the grumpy old neighbor. It's like, no. This is Indiana Jones. Have some respect for the man. Yeah.
I hear you, man. I hear you. All right. Supporting characters. And that's as a whole, not just Marion here.
Right.
Obviously, she's a big piece, but just everyone in general that you see, you like, and all that. I gave it an 8. Supporting characters. Caleb gave it a 9. So we're fairly equal here. Yeah, I mean, I love Marion. I think Marion's a great little character. I think she's a pistol. She's not a damsel. She can take care of herself. I love that they add this thing in her character where she can outdrink anybody. and I think that's so funny about her character. I love that about her. She speaks her mind. She's funny, but she has this real soft spot for Indy. Clearly, anybody who's still mad after 10 years clearly cares. So I think that's a great piece. But you got John Rhys Davies in here too. Sorry, I forget his character's name, but Sala. He's great. Like I said, it falls apart with the villains for me. That's why I would give it the score I give it. But still, an all-around good cast, all-around great characters. The characters make up the movie, man. They are really good. What do you think?
Yeah. Marion, like, what more needs to be said? She's my favorite love interest for Indy. Like, forget everyone else. Especially Elsa Schneider from Last Crusade. The one that got too greedy and she paid for it. Marion, she's great. Karen Allen is a fantastic actress. I'm glad they brought her back for Crystal Skull. John Rhys Davies, the man's a legend. All right, like hands down. Like Gimli, right? Gimli would be my first favorite role for him, but Sala is fantastic. I'm glad that they brought Sala back for Last Crusade. They gave him more to do. It's like John Rhys Davies is a treasure. I love his performances. He's great. He's awesome. Another character that I really like, who doesn't get too much screen time, but I like this guy. I don't know what it is. It's Captain Katanga. Like the man's accent. Like he has his pirate crew, and the way that he taunts the Germans when they capture, when they capture the boat. He's like, he's touching Marion's hair, and he's like, she'll fetch a nice price where we're going. It's like, I love this guy. Like, he's playing up the role. He's not gonna he wouldn't do anything to Marion, but he's playing up the role. And then I love that whole scene where after the Nazis leave the boat, and one of the crewmates is like, I still can't find Jones, sir. And then Captain Katana is like, you got to keep looking. He's got to be around here somewhere.
There he is.
He's like, there. It's like, I love that. Yeah, I love that scene. That scene is so good. And then with Indy's motif theme, dun, 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 it's like, it's so good. I love Captain Katanga. Like, we don't see much of him, but it's like, man, I could watch a movie with this guy. This guy is great.
I think that's what makes when we talk about supporting characters too, it's like how many even like the minor characters are great, and you're just loving them, right? Like the ones that seem so insignificant, and they're still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Even the boxer guy, like the way he sees Indy fighting, and he's like takes off his shirt and come on, boom. Like I've already talked about, where he gives him a jab. Even though he doesn't really say a whole lot, it's just a physical scene. It's something about the guy that's just kind of funny.
I think, do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he actually plays the Cairo swordsman too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember hearing about that years ago. That it's the same guy. They just put on a lot of makeup and everything. And
well, one thing I was reading, a lot of people auditioned for Marion. A lot of people.
Yeah.
From everybody at that time, even Dee Wallace, who he used in E.T., and he wrote E.T. while he was filming Raiders. So it's kind of like how Spielberg put Dee Wallace as an ace in the hole. Said, "Oh, you know what though? She'd be really good."
Yeah.
In this E.T. role I got coming up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that, and I'm thinking like I could have saw Dee Wallace as Marion if you would have let her stretch that character. I'm glad we got Karen Allen, because I like Karen. Karen Allen and Carrie Fisher are very similar to me. They feel like they're very similar in their presence and stuff like that.
The attitude towards
they're very
Harrison's
similar
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Like I could have easily seen Karen Allen as Princess Leia.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad Carrie did her job well, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's funny because I kind of like I'm kind of neck and neck on who I prefer, Carrie Fisher or Karen Allen, for these roles, because they're both so good. I love them both. They're fantastic characters. It's probably where my love of brunettes comes from. So, yeah. No, but I love Karen Allen. She's great. I would love to meet her at a convention someday.
I also liked her in Scrooged. She was cute in Scrooged.
Yeah.
And with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
She didn't have a ton of roles. I feel like she kind of dropped off a little with her career, but it was, like you said, it was nice to see her come back in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to the end here. We're getting there. All right. Entertainment. That's me and Caleb when we watch a really bad movie. No,
yeah, pretty much.
That's us watching Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
I didn't do that on purpose either, people. All right. So entertainment, I gave it a 9. I think Caleb gave this a 10. Yeah, Caleb gave this a 10. So they're still pretty equal here. What can you say, man? This was such a fun movie to return to. When I watched it Sunday, I was watching it and I was just like this lazy afternoon watching some Indiana Jones. I'm like, this movie still works, especially on the entertainment level. It's so entertaining, right? Like from the opening scene, even when he's teaching in the classroom and the girl with the eyelashes,
Yeah.
love you. It's like, oh my goodness. Like even the subtle stuff is so entertaining.
Mhm.
Whether it's the, just the dialogue or just the production design that you're looking at, or, the gags, everything about it. It's just so entertaining, man. Like, would you agree?
Yeah. Watching the opening scene to Raiders, like after he escapes from the Javitos and the plane is flying off towards the sun, the song that plays, like, again, I got to pop it out. This game, Lego Indiana Jones, they do it, right? They do a lot of faithful recreations of the movies, of the scenes of the movies. And I played these games so much. Like, my love for Indiana Jones is insane. I wish I had more merchandise to show off, but I love Indiana Jones. This is a franchise that I can easily return to. And again, I think I said this earlier, but this is a movie I can easily jump back into. Like, easily. It's my favorite of the franchise. It's just, it's got a really easy story to get into. It's something that I can easily latch onto. You have a great action star or a great leading role. And like we were saying earlier with the supporting cast, everybody does their job great. Even despite my criticisms of the villain roles, I still like these guys. These guys are all these are veterans. These are legendary actors, even in the small roles. So
and celebrating 45 years soon. Oh, might be a watch party in the future. I don't know.
That's not well. We actually we have to.
You did all three, I think. You didn't you?
Well, you see, that's the thing. Danner still basically refuses to do it, but eventually, I think I'm going to do it by the end of this year. We're going to do it. We're going to finish off our Indiana Jones watch along series with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because it needs to happen. We got to cap it off. But I love revisiting these movies. It's great.
Yeah, I did Temple of Doom. I've only done Temple of Doom as far as watch parties go. But yeah, guys, entertain. Sorry?
No, you're good. Something that we didn't really talk about too much was the supernatural aspect in these films. I mean, it's especially prevalent here in Raiders for obvious reasons. But that's one of the things I really love about these films, where it has a sense of like grounded realism to it, but it also has that supernatural element because even though you don't see too much of it, you can feel the presence of the Ark and the meaning behind it. Like, especially with the ending, that final explosion, because we get these hints about it. For example, when Indy and Sala go talk to the old man when they have the headpiece of the Staff of Ra, this thing right here.
Yep.
And the wind blows as the guy is talking about the configuration of it, the inscriptions, and the wind blows, knocking all the glass and stuff. It's really spooky, Yeah. The scene with the men from the government when Indy opens up the book and it shows a picture of the Ark.
Yeah.
And you have the ominous music. I love that stuff. I love the supernatural aspect of these movies. It's so good. And we get that payoff at the end. We're expecting the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, but it's all just sand. But then you have the glowing light. It's like things are about to go pop. It's so good. I love the supernatural aspect. It's another entertaining part of this movie, of the whole franchise, the whole supernatural aspect. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very entertaining film, man. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, like, I think everything said what needs to say about this dude, like, in this movie. It's so entertaining, and I just can't believe how well it holds up.
Yeah,
like this holds up so well. Hey Jeff, what's going on, buddy? He says this movie rocks. I know you like this one, buddy. You love this one, don't you? Tom says see the original Star Wars casting videos.
They're pretty interesting.
Yeah,
to say the least.
All these actors auditioning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Karen Allen auditioned for Princess Leia at one time.
Yeah, for sure.
Carter said, "I remember Karen in the Sandlot."
Yeah, we watched that movie last year for one of our
And
watch-alongs.
Tom says, "And I love the supernatural ending." Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom says, "This stream beats the Gareth collabs." Gareth's the man. Video Tasties is awesome. As he comes back, says, "Just kidding." He said Gareth interviewed Joanne Cassidy. Lucky bastard. Yeah, Gareth has got top-notch interviews, man. He talks to stuntmen from these old movies and everything, man. He's got a great channel of getting in contact with all these guys. So for sure. He's a good friend too. Gareth's awesome. All right. Legacy. I mean, I could not give this anything but a 10. I mean, and Caleb gave it a 10 too, guys. So I mean, God forbid this happens anytime soon, but whether Spielberg passes on Harrison Ford, I can't help but think of these movies when I think of these guys. The director, George Lucas, Harrison Ford. Yeah. I mean, Han Solo has a huge legacy too, but Indiana Jones has a monstrous legacy. It pretty much wrote the script on any adventure film after this, like that was coming out. Whether it be, you look like we said, Tomb Raider, the National Treasure movies, they're fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean that owes a lot to this, and that was a hugely successful movie. But doing the same template, bringing back swashbuckling kind of adventure movies. You know what I mean? Like you said, The Mummy. So there's a huge legacy attached to this franchise. So I could not help but give it a 10. Like when you think of Harrison Ford, I think we automatically think of Indiana Jones. When you think of Indiana Jones, even people who haven't maybe know it that well, they could probably hum you the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so iconic. Such a character that's going to live through, cinema forever, I think. So, the legacy is really special with this one.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you talked about the scene in Nepal when he comes into Marion's bar and you have the shadow.
Yeah.
Like that just says it. All you got to do is just look at the fedora. It's like, yeah, Indiana Jones. One of his most iconic attachments. Like one of the things that defines his character is that hat.
Think of how many characters who have worn a fedora who are popular. Rocky, Indiana Jones, Freddy Krueger, Uncle Buck.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of funny how there's so many different characters wear the fedora and it's iconic to them. And I think that's something. I think this is something Harrison Ford said on. Don't quote me on this, everyone, but it might have been Nicolas Cage actually. How when they design a character, how what they wear is so suited to that character or so iconic to that character. Like when you think of Indiana Jones, the outfit is so important. Like what Rocky's outfit in the first two movies anyway, with the black leather coat and the black hat, the fedora, and the all these characters have their own way of dressing or their own apparel that is like a character itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like we were saying earlier, Indiana Jones as a franchise has inspired so many other action adventure franchises. Like even in the smallest bits, like maybe not a full story, but you get movies or TV shows that do a little parody of Indiana Jones. This movie has left its mark, and I agree. This franchise, I think, will survive as long as humanity survives. We're able to tell the story of Indiana Jones. It's something I'll tell my kids when I have kids someday. This will be one of those franchises I'm going to sit them down and say, this is a time where men were men, action heroes. Like this is something that you could aspire to be. a lover of history, a skilled fighter, an adventurer,
Yeah,
because I think that all of us, some part of us has that yearning for an adventure, like to be able to go to an exotic place and see new things and find mysterious pieces of ancient history. That's a fantastic concept. And this movie kind of puts a magnifying glass on that and gives you
yeah,
lets you be able to peer into the window of that opportunity.
yeah.
That's
And
why
it also like it's like you said, it's you got this archaeologist, and how many people want to become an archaeologist after watching this? I bet you that just doubled. Like if you were to look at stats like that, like how many kids went, wanted to study history and had and all that kind of stuff, because that's what it does. It kind of goes, oh, I want to learn about, I want to study that history. I want to see what that was actually real and all that kind of stuff. And
right.
a movie to do that, it creates a legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think I dig that.
Yeah.
Tom says Clint Eastwood's 96. Yeah, the
Yeah.
old boy's pushing it, man. It's only a question of time. Sad. Yeah, a lot of them are going to be leaving this world, unfortunately. Thought Chuck would have reached 96. Yeah, that one blew my mind too, to be honest, because he was really healthy.
Yeah.
But it was just his time, man. It was just his time. Another man with a huge legacy. Stallone's mom made it to 98. I think he'll also reach that age. I want him to reach that age, but
right.
I don't want that day to come, guys. Sorry, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
Tom says Jaws is also timeless. Yeah, again, Spielberg, Spielberg came at a time that when we needed him. Like it was time for movies to change. Not that they were bad in 70s. I mean, 70s had fantastic movies.
Yeah, for sure.
But he created the modern blockbuster essentially. The whole pacing changed. The whole like with Star Wars and Superman and well, that was actually Richard Donner, but you guys know what I mean. This whole idea of adventure and with Spielberg doing like Jaws and doing this Indiana Jones thing that George Lucas come up with, and Spielberg directed, and then he does E.T. and all these movies. And you look at something like E.T., where the kids you're following these kids doing this adventure. And you look at something like Stranger Things, where that's where it's all coming from. It's coming from the Spielberg era of things.
I've talked to a few people at my work about this. I've talked to a few other people as well. But the 80s was the golden era, the golden age of pop culture. Living through the 2000s to the 2010s into the 2020s, I am convinced that the 80s was the golden age of pop culture here, at least in the West, because you had a lot of older things that were being brought back for new audiences with a different coat of paint. And it was like the greatest hits, but doing some things differently. But we look at Indiana Jones, it's just like the film serials from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, where it was those little bits that played before a main movie would play. And you'd come back every weekend to see the next adventure in the film serial, right? And the 80s really was like a culmination of all those things. And it's not just movies, like music too. Also like did that. That's why, again, I consider the 80s to be the golden age of
I think that's why I liked the Fall Guys so much, because it was like, wow, they're paying tribute to an 80s movie.
Yeah.
It felt like an 80s film, like the one with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. It felt like an 80s film. They were just having fun and blowing shit up and doing silly things, and the stunt work and everything was amazing. So it's almost like someone's got to take the Indiana Jones template and go, okay, so Spielberg was influenced by those 30s movies. Now you get a modern director who goes, grew up in the 80s. What can we do? Bring back a character. But the way the culture is now, people are not going to take to an 80s character. Let's just face it. You know it, Caleb. They're not.
Yeah.
Like there's people get offended too easily now. And an 80s character wouldn't take offense to.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah. Well, I think that the solution isn't to just like rehash these characters and bring them back, because that's not what Spielberg and Lucas did. They took aspects of those things that they watched and they forged it into something new. Because think about this. Let's take Alien, for example. 1979 Ridley Scott. When you boil it down, it is quite literally a haunted house movie in space. You have a group of characters that go to a mysterious and forbidden place, and they're stalked by a monster. But Ridley Scott was able to elevate that premise and add his own flair to it. Instead of it being a haunted house, it's a spaceship in the middle of nowhere where you're not going to get any help. In space, no one can hear you scream. Instead of a ghost, you have an alien monster. You know, these are things that were present back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Like, what is it? It, the Terror from Beyond Space. Like, it's a movie that is pretty much Alien. It's the same concept about a group of space travelers that pick up an alien organism and it gets loose on the ship. So it's not so much ripping these characters as they are and putting it into the modern era. It's taking their aspects of that film or that character and making something new out of it.
right.
So you're paying tribute to that classic era while also giving it a modern flair that isn't for a modern audience. Like, I hate that term, because a modern audience they're not interested in these films. They don't care. Not everybody's like that. There are people that are younger than me that are interested in some of these characters for sure. It's just, for the most part, modern audiences don't care about characters like Indiana Jones. Not like we used to. Like, I think that I'm part of the last generation that was really into this stuff, because, you know, by the time I was 10 or 11 years old, you know, we had Kingdom of the Crystal Skull come out. A few years prior, we had Revenge of the Sith, right? So I was part of that last era that had these classic characters before the modern audience things started really creeping up on us. But, you know, if anything, the not so good movies of today only make me go back to the older ones and to see how good things were.
Well, I'm not gonna say that I don't like. I mean, there's a lot of modern movies that, man, I'm like, that was
of course,
fucking great movie. Like, something like Sicario, I think is an absolutely incredible movie.
Yeah.
Alita Battle Angel, I thought was a great movie, and like, why don't we have a sequel? Like, stuff like, and
I'll give you one.
Where was I going with this? But more often than not, I don't find myself revisiting a movie like newer movies.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking movies I've watched in the past 3 years. Like, I remember the rave about The Substance. I watch it, I'm like, like, I liked it, but I thought it just went off the rails, and I thought, I don't see the big deal in this. I didn't see what everyone else saw.
It's a one and done movie for me. It's like, I revisited it with the guys on our channel. We did a watch along for it. It's a weird movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's putting it lightly, but it doesn't have the type of horror appeal. Like, if we're talking like body horror, a body horror film that I revisit is The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Or The Fly. Like, The Fly is
or The
another
Fly,
one I
yeah.
like. Yeah.
Like, because it had a stronger cast, it had a more interesting story. The Substance is kind of like, oh yeah, this is how like Hollywood acts. It's like, hey, that's great and everything, but I think I've had enough of seeing Hollywood's perspective, because they make their opinions very clear on social media. It's like, yeah, okay, thank you. Don't need that, but thanks for your opinion anyway. Back to the movies, guys. But look, I'm not a complete hater of modern films, because there are a lot of good modern films, like this one.
Yeah, great film. Right?
I'm a Godzilla guy. You want to talk about another classic franchise? Godzilla, 1954. So, but no, I like, there are a lot of good modern movies. I'm not gonna say that there isn't. It's just I keep finding myself revisiting the classic films more than modern films. That's
Me
my
too.
big one.
I mean, I always like to watch because I want to watch newer stuff and I just want to see what's out there and what people are talking about. So I like to keep up as much as I can, but more often than not, I'm just like, that was just okay. That was just okay, or it's like, yeah, I like it, but I won't return to it because a lot of the, especially horror, a lot of them rely on such a twist ending that it's like I won't return to it though. There's
Yeah.
nothing about it that's gonna make me want to watch it again. Um, I like, but when I watched it, when I will credit like, oh wow, that was such a great movie, right? When I see a modern movie, like I know a lot of people don't think it was great, but I thought Del Toro's Frankenstein was great. I loved it.
Mhm.
I thought it was a really really good movie. Even
Mhm.
my wife loved it, and she's not into those kind of movies. There was
Yeah.
even a point she was crying, like she was really feeling for the character, like and all that. I know a lot of people are not on board with that, but I really enjoyed it. So there was one movie that was like, yeah, that was one of the best, really good movies I've seen in a while that I would
Yeah.
return to. But a lot of them I just won't. They had better stories too. Well, they were original back then. That's the difference. There was no remakes then. Well, unless you're talking The Fly or The Thing, or,
Mhm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Tom says last movie I saw in cinema was Good Boy. I love that movie. Is that the one with the dog? From the
Yeah.
dog's perspective, that was a
I
good one actually. That was a decent little concept. A
I
decent
liked
little
it.
movie.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Put feeling in the movies, Hollywood.
Well, I wouldn't say that there isn't any feeling in Hollywood movies. It's just the feelings aren't very good ones. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the Hollywood movies I'm watching, they're not sending a particularly good message. Like, some of the movies feel kind of like self-destructive, like encouraging certain behaviors. Like, what was it? The Bride. I don't know if you watched it. Like, it's supposed to be like Bride of Frankenstein, but
I heard it's not good from the mass majority, but
yeah, they take a classic character and they do a lot of weird stuff with that movie, and mainly because it's politically driven. Well, let me rephrase that. It's identity politics driven heavily, and that's what I really hate about a lot of modern movies today, is that they push a lot of identity politics that take me out of the movie. So, yeah,
that's where the annoying part is. Right? It's kind of like you're forcing this message down the throat of that we don't want or need, depending on what you're watching.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I like seeing a good message in a movie, but it's not necessary. But a political one can sometimes, you got to know how to toe the line. I think, you know what I mean.
Well, see, here is the most neutral position you can have for a movie. The movie should convince you to think rather than tell you what to think.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I agree. Like, I agree. I mean, the biggest example, yeah, actually, you know what? Another time. I don't want to sidetrack that. Another time. I don't want to get into that. So,
Yeah.
not right now. All right, guys, let's tally up our points here. So, I don't know if you've been watching, Caleb. Oh, sorry, let's grade it first. So Caleb, this basically reloads the best of the best. You're gonna watch it over and over and over. Stand by. You may put it on every few years or retire. I'm not watching that shit. Just retire. You're too old for this shit. For me, this is a reload. I'm reloading this baby whenever I can. And I think I know what you're gonna say too.
Yeah, reload. Easy.
Reload. So we got another reload. The reason I pick a lot of good movies for this podcast is because of this, guys. So we can have an entertaining leaderboard. So Caleb and I, this is our average. So this is the points mounted up between the both of us, not one. So we got our first perfect score of 100. So Indiana Jones takes the hero spot above James Bond. But we got good ones coming up. I mean, we got Terminator coming up. We got Aliens coming up. We got Dirty Harry. We got T2 as the season finale. So Sarah Connor may take that top spot too. We don't know yet, but we'll find out. But as far as now, Indy is in the lead for the hero leaderboard. So we got, Colonel Braddock is extremely high actually for missing in action. Marion Cobretti from Cobra, and obviously RoboCop here. All right, villains. So our average, Caleb, was 65 together. So what's his name? Rene Block, whatever his name is gonna sit Block is gonna sit between the Night Slasher from Cobra and General Veen from Missing in Action. So Clarence Boddicker, he's hard to beat, man. From RoboCop, he's hard to beat. He took the top spot, and he's even over Le Chiffre here from Casino Royale. And of course, the movie. So together, Caleb, it scored an 89 between the both of us. So it's just under Casino Royale sitting right now. So Casino Royale is still the top spot. Which that's a fucking good movie, man. Casino Royale, really like that one. So that is our leaderboard as we sit now. So yeah, if everyone wants to, I'm gonna put something out here if I can find it. Let's applause. Love it. All right, let me bring us back to. Sorry, guys. I gotta find my place here. It's, my media here. Let's bring us back. This. There we go. All right, let's see what you guys got to say. And also, they overthink it now. They're just going on what sells. Whatever people are chewing up, they're just going to keep putting out there. There's no more entrepreneurship. You couldn't make a movie. Like, speaking of, they made a movie coming out on how Stallone got Rocky made. It's going to be called I Play Rocky. It's the guys who did Green Book. It's one of the Farrelly brothers. And he made a movie on how Stallone got Rocky made, how he would not sell the script unless he got the star in it. That's what this movie's going to be about. And you can't do that no more in Hollywood. So even Stallone says you just could not do that no more now.
Yeah. If it was difficult back then, good luck these days.
Kalal, what's going on, buddy? He says art imitates life. Whatever's going on in the world will always be in entertainment, always been that way.
Yeah.
Tom Baker says they spend too much money. Well, yeah.
I gotta pull it out.
Sometimes. How much did Godzilla -1 cost?
So check this out.
What, $8 million? Something like that?
So initial reports were saying that the movie had a budget of $15 million, but director Takashi Yamazaki came out and said he wishes that they had $15 million. So the exact number isn't clear. Maybe they've reported it since then, but it's less than $15 million, which I find hilarious because for the amount of special effects that are in this movie, you could say, well, man, this almost feels like it could be on a Marvel budget. No, not even sort of, like 1% of a Marvel budget.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy how they put so much money into these films. And then when they flop, they wonder, well, man, why did it flop so much? Like, look, what did we say earlier in this episode? That the story the action doesn't sell the movie. It's the story.
It's the story, man. If you have a good story.
Yeah. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, George Lucas even said years, like when he did Star Wars, like special effects with no story. It's just special effects.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the story that brings you to it, right? And the special effects are like the icing on the cake, in my opinion. So Yeah, you gotta have a good story. Some of the greatest action movies are story. Like the story is so good,
Yeah.
right? It's like you can get a lot of, and when they're bland, they're bland for a reason because you're not that engaged. Like a lot of people talk about, this movie was too long, the pacing dragged. Was it the pacing, or is this that you didn't give a shit about the characters? Like I watched Heat on the weekend,
Mhm.
3 hour movie, right?
Mhm.
Almost 3 hours. You don't even feel the pacing. You are engaged on every single second of that movie. And there's really not, it's all actors just doing what they do best, act.
Right.
And you get some decent action, some great stuff in that movie. I was just amazed. I'm like, I am so engaged in this movie on every minute of it. And a lot, if you go, oh, it's almost 3 hours, I don't know. Yes, you can sit through this because it doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah. If the story is compelling, if the characters help to sell the story, if the performances are excellent, they're good. If they keep you hooked, then the time is basically inconsequential because you'll be invested in something good, something entertaining.
Jason, love your guitarist ghost movie idea. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. He says I write a lot myself. Oh, yeah, me too. I got a lot of outlines. But yeah, I am 188 pages into an original piece of material that I think is very good, and it has a lot of my influences in it, especially with the blues and the guitar and the lore and all that. But that's another story for another day. But it's I'm enjoying when I get into the mood to write. I got some pretty good ideas. I even got a Cujo Legacy script that I would love to do. I would love to write. I got the idea in my head, but I know no one would ever want it. But it's just a movie that I've always loved. So, yeah. Anyways, that's time for another story another day. But yes, that is episode 5, guys, of Action Movies Reloaded. Taking it live. This will be on Spotify once I get a chance to clip the audio segments and cut a lot of stuff out. And you guys can listen on Spotify, or if you're listening to now on Spotify, this was really originally aired on YouTube. And next week, I'm going to try and bring Caleb back for Assault on Precinct 13. He has never seen it, and he's a huge Carpenter fan. So I think he needs to see this movie because it's actually a real good one.
I'll definitely be doing my homework.
Night of the Living Dead mixed with Rio Bravo. That's all I'll say.
Well, I like Escape from New York, and if it's anything like Escape from New York, even a little bit, then I think I can get into it.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit like that. It's I picked that because I wanted to pick a good cult classic in there, and there is a good. If you like video games, the one action sequence feels like a video game. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it. But so yeah, guys, we're gonna do this live. Probably the next few episodes will be live. We got the Night Watch Zone coming on for Aliens. We got Ages of Film, my buddy Clayton coming on for the Terminator because he's coming on for T2 as well. So he's a big Terminator fan and he's more T2, but we're going to see how that lays out. But there's some good episodes coming up for this podcast, guys. So just stick around, subscribe to Caleb's channel. Caleb does kind of different stuff. He does a lot of watch parties, but they talk about the war on pop culture. So if you don't like the way pop culture is going with movies, you may like Caleb's channel. It does a little bit more.
We dive into the spicier side of the discussion.
Yeah, like I don't really get into the politics of everything on this channel, but I don't talk new movies either, so that often. So I don't really need to get into that stuff. But yeah, Caleb's got some interesting streams if you like that stuff. If you like that, especially when a new movie comes out that they despise, it's pretty funny, man.
And don't be afraid to disagree with me. It's all part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Contrary to what some might think, I don't hate humanity. I just have a high respect for things. And, look, again, I grew up on a lot of classic movies like Clint Eastwood, Harrison Ford, John Wayne, like a lot of classic actors and a lot of classic movies I've watched so much of. I have a high respect for the 1900s, I guess you can say 1930s and onward. Yeah, I mean, you can again thank my dad for that because he put me in front of a lot of classic stuff, and it's just stuck. It's stuck
he doesn't hate everything. They'll just say that.
Yeah, I don't.
Kev doesn't hate everything.
I don't like to hate on stuff. Okay, like if there's an installment in a franchise that I like, a new installment in a franchise I like, and it does poorly, I got to call it out because if I'm blindly consuming things, then I'm doing a disservice to the franchise and its legacy, and I'm also doing a disservice to myself.
I'm thinking about doing a series. I don't know when I'll be able to do this, but I'd like to do a series called Fandom Fridays or this like something like picking a fandom and not just talking about the movies, but the toxicity that can come with that fandom sometimes, and maybe why, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a mix of what you do. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not so much like take any franchise. Like let's just say like Halloween, for instance, and just talking about not only the movies and everything, but going into the fandom of it all too, because they all have their own. I find they all have their own unique fans. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Rocky fans are really different than the Star Wars fans, and Star Wars fans are different. They all have their own. And let's dive into why has this pissed people off, or why because there's not everyone hates every movie in a franchise. Some people will say, "Oh, I still enjoyed that."
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll do it one day. Tom says, "You know your movies, Caleb.
Thank you.
You should see him talk Predator, man. He's a Predator expert." He says, "Caleb, you would also get along great with the new channel Kitsmo Media. She is fantastic."
I'll look her up.
Oh, yeah, I'd never heard of her. I'll have to check it out too. She has movie streams on YouTube. Sweet. I'll have to check her out.
Yeah, for sure.
What's unique about Caleb though is like I told you guys, he talks about all this political stuff that even I didn't know existed. I'm still trying to wrap my head around tokenization and all this stuff because I didn't know that shit existed until I started watching Caleb.
Yeah.
But it makes sense though at the same time. Like, why on earth is there a Moana live action movie even coming out? It is beyond me, since the movie was so great as anime.
And not only just that,
it's not fucking needed.
The movie isn't even old. Like we're talking about a live action adaptation of a movie that's.
It almost makes me feel like people are looking down at animation. Like you can't. We need a live version. I don't know.
You guys want to get a different flavor of film? Watch Japanese movies and animation. You want a different flavor? That is my recommendation. If anybody knows Godzilla, check out Godzilla. If you don't know Godzilla, go check out Godzilla, because that actually holds the Guinness World Record for the longest running franchise in cinema history. Started in 1954 and it's still going. So,
good flick, man.
If you want a different flavor, go check out some Japanese entertainment, because the Japanese make a lot of good stuff.
Hell yeah. Anyways, guys, I thank you all for watching the show tonight. Let me know how this format works for you live. A lot of times I have to pre-record them, but I'm trying to move it more live because this is easier for me to set up and talk to you guys about everything. So yeah, so tune in next Monday, or it might not be Monday. I'll check. Hopefully Caleb can come back for Assault on Precinct 13, and we'll make it happen for you guys. In the meantime, I'm coming back Thursday night with my top 10 revenge movies of all time with Mika and Kira from the Double Feature podcast. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Caleb, do you want to just shortly plug anything, or when you're streaming again?
Yeah, sure. You can find us on Twitter, formerly X, Dark Ether Files Podcast Official, or just search up the Dark Ether Files Podcast. You'll find us. Our our logo is a purple logo with myself and my co-hosts joining me. We talk movies, pop culture, identity politics, and pop culture. We do a lot. We're doing a lot of watch-alongs. But again, I want to get back into actually doing videos and movie reviews. I've been dipping my toe back into some of it. I do a lot of video editing. We have a little fan fiction series called The Dark Etherverse. It's fan fiction stuff. If you ever heard of fan fiction or know what fan fiction is, what you see is what you get. It's just a fun little side project. I like to explore my video and photo editing skills. So that's what I do a lot of. But I want to get back into actual videos, like movie reviews and just discussion videos. Like, go check out my critique of Terminator Dark Fate series. It's something I still need to finish, but there's 2 or 3 episodes in that. I basically go through the entirety of Terminator Dark Fate, and I give my critique on scenes and the plot and why I absolutely despise that film's entire existence. And that's putting it lightly. But there's also an earlier series that I did. It was a huge collab with a bunch of awesome content creators. Some of us mutual friends, me and J-Man are friends with. It was called the Hollow Scream Review Series. We did an entire review series on all the Halloween films leading up to Halloween Ends. So that's like very early on in our YouTube career, especially with me doing video editing. So if you want to check out those, feel free. This Friday, we are coming back to live streaming. My co-host Danner, he runs a series called Danner's Dumpster, where we watch garbage movies, whether they're really bad or so bad that it's good. We watch all kinds of stuff. So this Friday, we are going to be watching Wolf Cop, and James Cameron sort of directed Dark Fate. Okay, here's the thing. James Cameron wrote the scene killing off John Connor. That was
he's backpedaling now, saying it's maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's like anyway. That whole thing. But anyway, so we're watching it's a double feature this Friday. We're watching a movie called Wolf Cop, which is a werewolf cop, a cop who's a werewolf. And we're watching a Seth Rogen comedy called Observe and Report. I'm not the biggest Seth Rogen fan, but that's one of the comedy movies I've watched a lot at a very inappropriate age of doing so. But I really want to get the reaction from my co-host, because these are 2 really, really crazy movies, especially Wolf Cop. Wolf Cop is... let's just say the filmmakers were probably doing a lot of drugs when they made that movie. Just saying. But we watch a lot of garbage movies, and we have fun poking at bad movies. So if you want to join us this Friday, you guys can find us on the channel when we go live, and do all the subbing and the liking and all that stuff. I don't usually do the plugs, but if that's something that interests you, then come pay us a visit.
Tom says, Jason, you know Tremaine Hayhoe? No, I do not.
Never heard of that.
I'm a loner in my corner here. This is my corner of the world, guys. I don't know everyone. Although I'm always looking for future collaborators, so future channels who are coming up, or anybody who's, I know a lot of people in our circle are kind of cutting back on this and stuff like that. But I keep going. I have my breaks, but I'm still here, guys. And I got some specials. I got more podcasts coming up, actually. This is just one of them. We're going to be diving into other stuff in the future. So yeah. But anyways, guys, I do have to go. I got to work in the morning. So you guys all take care. Have a good night. God bless. All that kind of stuff. And I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.
The name's Bond, James Bond.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?